I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. You're going to think it's Wednesday, but it's not. It's not Mott and Chace Wednesday. It's a special edition of Mott and Chace on Friday. And we've got Ben Scungio. He sort of runs the world out of the Providence office. Ben Scungio, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Josh. But, again, every day is a great day when it's Mott and Chace Day. So come on.
It is always a great Mott and Chace Day. Friday edition, because we've got big numbers, new numbers, the August numbers of what happened. Ben, give us an overview of what happened in Rhode Island and the good news and the bad news.
So I think there's a really interesting narrative out there between our local market and our national market. So I'll first start with what's going on locally, and then we can certainly talk about the national market, because that's really intriguing to have a conversation about. So year over year, list price up 7%, sale prices up 11%, inventory down. I mean, this is the constant conversation. Inventory down almost 40%. Pending sales are down 2.5%. Sales in general, so the amount of units that are closing are down 27%. And our supply, surprise, surprise, down 60% year over year.
Okay, let's go to the million-dollar question. What in August was the median price of a single-family home in the state of Rhode Island?
$450,000, Josh. It's finally there.
That's an all-time record, I do believe.
I do believe that is.
Yeah. So less houses, less transactions, and prices continue to climb, thus making it more and more difficult for many Rhode Islanders to purchase a house.
Yep, it is. I mean, I was working with clients last week, and we have people locking in the mid sevens, high sevens right now for interest rates. I mean, they're right below 8%. So we have all this data telling us how difficult the market is. On top of it, the interest rate environment is, at an all-time high over the past 10 to 15 years. So it's difficult, but there's always ways, to get a transaction. Somebody's ready, willing, and able to do it. We're typically able to get it done for clients, for sure. But the national numbers are really interesting if we want to, go to that, because
let's compare and contrast.
Sure, it's an interesting topic and an interesting conversation to have. So the Northeast is doing really, really well. We're talking about year over year values so not list priced, right? The 450 is the list price average, and how that's up 7.2%. But home values from CoreLogic in Rhode Island are up 5.4%. And you look at all of New England, New Hampshire up 7.3%, Maine up 7%, Connecticut up 6.4%, Massachusetts up almost 3%. But nationally, there's 11 states that have declined. So
really?
On average,
yes. And are they in a specific region, or are they spread throughout the country?
It's Midwest, West Coast, really.
Yeah.
Yep. And, on average, the nation is seeing 2.5% increase in value. So, Rhode Island is trending better than the nation. New England and the Northeast is trending better than the nation. But we're still seeing a lot of, homes in other parts of the country that have lost value this year, which is kind of astounding, because we really concentrate on our market here. It's really, we really zoom in and we do a micro analysis of it. And to hear that, wow, there's 11 states that have lost value is kind of like, mind blown on that one.
And Ben, talk a little bit about, you're talking about working with somebody, they're locking in at 7.5 or 7.75 for an interest rate. How frustrating is it for those buyers? Or are the buyers now transitioning to understand, hey, listen, interest rates are in the sevens. We're not going to beat it. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to make the purchase. And then in the next 24 months, rates should decline, and I'll be able to refinance at that point. I'll have more equity. I'll have a better story to tell to bankers. Is that kind of the mindset?
It absolutely is the mindset. I mean, if somebody really wants to transact and somebody really wants to purchase a home, that's the mindset they have to have. I think there's plenty of people who have decided to sit on the sidelines, which is perfectly fine. It's actually giving people who've been looking for a while, who decided to play in the game, some great opportunities, because there's, not 20 people or 30 people looking at a home. in 10 offers. There might be 15 people in 3 offers. And, there's been a lot of, people out there predicting that once those interest rates start to come down, we're going to start to see another dramatic increase in prices. So it's kind of all negligible at the end of the day. If rates come down, prices go up, or prices come down and rates go up, it's kind of all the same. But I think the important thing that the consumer needs to understand is that if you can eliminate yourself from these bidding wars where you're potentially having to do something that is not smart to win the house, waiving all your contingencies or waiving just your inspection contingency to make your offer look better, that's not necessarily the case right now. You could offer.
Is there bizarrely an advantage with the higher interest rates? Because
I think there is.
Because you're going to buy on price right now.
Yep.
In 2 years, just use 24 months as just a anecdotal date, and say we're going to be back to 5% by then, or 5.5. So you can refinance at 5.5. But at that point, 24 months in the future, when those interest rates come down, that house you bought at 450 is really going to cost $600,000.
Absolutely, that's 100% the case. So I think it's almost better now to get into a market where you can win some battles, right? As a buyer, you can get your inspection, you can have a mortgage contingency, you can make it contingent on appraisal. In some instances, I don't want to say this is happening across the board 100% of the time, but there are instances where this can happen. And then, unfortunately, you have to eat the 7.5 plus or minus interest rate. But a lot of these lenders are saying, listen, we're going to refinance you potentially for free or at little to no cost if the rates drop in the next 12 to 18 months. It's a tough pill to swallow right now with the mortgage rates, but I think there is an advantage by getting into the market right now and offering on homes for sure.
Sellers, where are sellers' mindsets right now?
Unfortunately, I think sellers' mindsets are the same that they've been for quite a long time now. Where do I go?
So they are in their basement, in their bunker, with their cans of green beans.
Yes.
Looking to wait out. It's kind of Planet of the Apes-esque.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we unfortunately there's a land drought and an inventory drought in this state. So, a lot of people, a lot of boomers who are like, I have this 5-bedroom house, just use that as an example.
Right.
Like, we want to downsize to a 2 to 3 bed condo or whatever it may be. There's just legitimately no place to go. Even if they say, all right, we're not gonna buy something, we're gonna rent for 12 months and kind of ride this out and put a bunch of money in the bank or in the market or whatever it may be. Really no place to rent either. Especially in locations where these people have their homes. So if they're living on the east side for 20 years or 25 years and they want to stay in Providence, there's just not a lot of options out there. So it's kind of sit back, wait and see, unfortunately. But all the indicators are pointing that we are going to start to see more inventory going into next year. But nobody has a magic crystal ball. I wish I did, Josh. We'd all be in a better position.
We're 2 weeks into September, really the beginning of the fall selling season. What is this going to be the least amount of inventory we've seen in a fall selling season in Rhode Island in history?
Yeah, well, the past 2 years haven't really identified like what's a good, quote unquote selling season. It's really been like the market has been a straight 12 months of inventory coming on, buyers and sellers transacting. But historically, spring and the fall are your prime markets in Rhode Island. So if we looked back from, 2013 to 2019, and you compared it to the fall that we're going into now, I would say, this is probably I don't want to say the worst, but it's pretty grim out there, for sure.
Well, let's say call it competitive. So,
fair.
Ben, you get the last word. What should people be thinking about? Record median price of a single-family home now $450,000. 3-4 years ago, certainly pre-pandemic, we would never think Rhode Island's prices would hit this in our lifetime, literally in our lifetime. But it is reality and only going upward. What should people be thinking about?
I think people, you have two people, you have buyers and you have sellers, right? So buyers need to be just concentrating on their needs. Do you need a home? Do you need to? Do you need a condominium? Do you need a single family? Do you need to upgrade because of your family situation? If the answer is yes, just really think about the process. Like we talked about the interest rates historically should go down. So just take that into consideration.
Sure.
If you're a seller, I feel like a broken record by saying this, but their equity is again at an all-time high.
Right.
So, I feel like it's like, every 30 days, it's like, Ben, what do you think about people's equity? It's like, it's at an all-time high. It's like, sound like a broken record saying it. But if you can downsize and you can find a place to go, if it be a rental or if it be a condominium or whatever it may be, and put that money in the bank or in the stock market and let it work for you for, until we kind of, ride this inventory crisis out, then I would say go for it.
Ben Scungio, he is the man. This Friday special edition of Mott and Chace. The newest numbers are out from the report. The median price of a single family house in Rhode Island is now $450,000. For everybody, stay tuned. We'll have much more. Weekend news are busy. Last weekend, GoLocal broke the story of the infamous wedding event down in Newport, and that story has run all weekend, is expected to run much further as those folks get adjudicated. Stay tuned. We'll have updates throughout today and all weekend. Stay safe, everybody, and it looks like we're going to miss much of this hurricane, but we are going to get some rain and maybe a little bit of wind, so make sure you're buttoned down at your home.